Christina.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Lisa.
I'm Amy.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Danny.
And I'm gonna answer
some personal
questions. So these are all questions that you guys have tweeted, messaged, DM'd, left in comments, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of these are from Twitter, but you guys asked all of these questions. When we started to do our first covers where there were some questionable lyrics, I just didn't really ever use any kind of questionable language because I was always surrounded by younger kids, like my entire life. So I got in the habit of constantly watching my language. So it was like I'd be in high school and I'd be around my friends who were just saying whatever, but I would be like, oh my gosh, if my younger sibling repeated me saying that, I would be so upset with myself. So I kind of got in a habit of always being appropriate for my younger siblings. And then when it came to doing the songs, I was like, I'm obviously not gonna use this language that I don't use in real life in this song. And I don't wanna say something suggestive in this song because it would be really awkward to see my younger sibling singing along to that. So I kind of just have a rule, and we all have adopted this rule, and it's basically, if you wouldn't wanna see like a 5 or 10-year-old singing along to what you are putting on the internet, don't put it on the internet. And that's kind of how I decide.
Some things I don't think are appropriate for everyone to hear, and I know that a lot of young kids watch our videos and there's certain lyrics that I don't think are appropriate for young kids to hear when they watch our videos.
Personally, I don't really listen to inappropriate songs, and if they do have bad words, I look for the clean versions. I'm 26 years old. It's never gonna change. It's just something that I personally do.
So yeah, somehow it offends a lot of people. Don't know why. And I don't care. But it's literally to be a good role model for kids. If that's offensive to you, it's really interesting. But okay, whatever you want.
I decided to wait till marriage. I think I was 17.
This was kind of always a thing in my family. Like all my sisters are doing this, and so that's the reason why I initially was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that too. But then as I got older and started like actually interacting with boys, like speaking to them, then I realized how important it was just from seeing my friends who weren't waiting and how hurt they got after they didn't wait, and then the boy ended up breaking their heart, or they ended up, I don't know, just people that I know ended up getting really hurt over it, and I saw the meaning of sex just not exist anymore, and I don't like that at all, and I really want it to truly mean something. So that is why I choose to wait till marriage, because I want it to be for sure like this is the person I'm gonna be with forever, because how else would you know unless you were married?
It was kind of just how I was raised in my family, having a Catholic faith. That was just sort of like a moral that I was aware of, although I don't remember having an actual conversation with anyone about it. I just sort of like knew that I was gonna do that. I think when I actually made the decision for myself, I was 17, and I'd been reading a lot of books on purity, and it just seemed like it made a lot of sense. Like it seemed like the benefits of waiting till marriage really outweighed the benefits of not waiting, and it just made a lot of sense. And now that I'm 26 and I am in like a serious relationship, and I've been in a lot of other relationships, I can see how I'm really glad that I made that choice, because I feel like it's just kind of made my relationship so much simpler, and I'm really glad I made that decision.
This is always something that my sisters kind of talked about as I was growing up, and I thought it seemed like a good idea. And then as I got older and I had some experiences with boys, then I definitely realized it was a good idea for me, because there's so many times where looking back now, I'm so glad that things didn't go any further, and I know I would have regretted that so much.
Well, at first I was like, oh yeah, let's go marriage, because all my like sisters were talking about it, and I like had read some books about it. And then I kept thinking about it, and like, because at first I only chose it because I thought I was supposed to, and then once I like learned more about it and did more research and like prayed more about it, then I decided to actually choose it because I wanted to do it and not just because I thought I was supposed to.
So I was not planning on this. Shocker. I know my answer's so different from everyone else. I was not planning on this at all, and I was like, what even is waiting until marriage? I didn't even know what this was. And then I read about it from this book. I think it was called If You Really Loved Me. I can't remember. And I read about it and I was like, what? I was shook by it. I was like, what are they talking about? I was kind of freaked out, honestly. But then I was like, okay, I think this makes some sense. There's a lot of reasons. If you want to see us do an in-depth video on this, and really go into the reasons, leave it in the comments and we will do a video on it. But I did a lot of research, a lot. I did it from a scientific perspective and also religious and also just kind of like common sense, looking around people around me, anecdotal evidence, all these different things. I went in on my research because I don't really make decisions without researching them to the death. So I did a lot of research and then I decided in all the different angles, yes, this was better. And practically also, it was so good for my dating life. Oh my gosh. So yeah, a lot of reasons.
Basically, my mom is quite the communicator. She gave me a book, ran out of the room when I was like 14, and it was a book about like love and Christian relationships and stuff, and I read that and I was like, oh, makes sense. So
I am single.
I am single.
Okay, I'm obviously taken because I'm engaged, basically married, so.
I'm taken, and it's none of your business.
I am taken.
I am a taken woman as of now. Let's hope it lasts.
Everyone keeps asking me if I'm pregnant, and this has happened for years, but especially since we got engaged, everyone asks me this like every single week. I don't know why, I don't think I look pregnant. Okay, maybe I was bloated one day. I don't think that's what it was though. But, well, you know we're into marriage, so nope, impossible, not pregnant. Check back with me in a little bit.
I have never personally thought about breaking up the band and or going solo, but I just never have.
I have thought about this many times, not because I hate my sisters, not because I hate the band. Sometimes I did hate the band, I'm just not gonna lie. Sometimes I did hate it because it gets very stressful sometimes, and it's normal to wonder if you're doing the right thing, and right now I feel as though I am doing the right thing, so I'm gonna continue doing it. But that could change, I don't know.
Yes, I have thought about that many times, but it has not happened, so.
I haven't really thought that much about going solo. I have some weird desires, like I've always wanted to record a lullaby album for babies, and I could see myself recording like an acoustic Christian album and a very like depressing indie album, just because those are like personal interests of mine that I can't see anyone else doing. And breaking up the band, I mean, I feel like that's something that later in life when we all have families and are moved out, I think we'll still like do the band in some capacity, but it's gonna be hard to like, it's not gonna be what it's always been. So I don't know what that's gonna look like 10 years from now, but we'll see as life happens.
Yes, I thought about like ending the band all the time. I was always like, I'm gonna be a realtor. I'm gonna go get a corporate job. I have like these dreams of like working my way up a company and being like right up there on the top, because part of me is just made for corporate life, honestly.
Yeah, I tried to do that and it imploded. It was like, everyone was like, no! Then we had to talk it out, we had to work on it, we had to figure things out. We had to do open heart surgery on our company and get everyone happy, and I would say that we did a dang good job. It was a long uphill battle, but I feel like we got into a really good place, so yeah.
I think my favorite thing about our sisterhood is that we're so different and we all like come together in like this wild way.
I think that generally speaking, it's really positive, like a positive environment, and it's really like growth oriented, and we're all really real with each other. So I feel like being around each other makes us all better people.
I feel like my answer is best highlighted by when I'm out of town and something happens that just cracks me up, or even just when I'm like away from my sisters, like hanging out professionally, and I'm always like, something happens and it makes me like, oh my gosh, I have to send this to the group. I gotta tell them, you know, like this thing where no matter where you are or what you're doing, it's always there, and you know, even if you're all mad at each other or there's a bad time, you know deep down it's never gonna go away.
We are like really, really good friends too. So like we love talking to each other, and we can talk for hours about anything. We will have the most interesting conversations. Like when we're on road trips, we just talk the entire time, and it's so much fun. We have such a strong bond, and I think all of us, even though we fight and even though we don't always get along, I think at the core of it, all of us have so much respect for each other and so much love for each other that will never ever die or go away.
I think it's that we have like the best support group ever. We're not like the most mushy and emotional of all, although Kath can definitely do that for everyone, but we have the best support group. So if something happens with a boy or someone says something rude, we'll send it to the group text if we're not near each other. And we'll be like, this person did this. And we'll be objective like, well, you did that. But then part of us will be like, they are so rude. I cannot believe it. You did not deserve that. They are wrong. Don't get down on yourself, blah, blah. And we'll completely build each other up. If we're trying to try something that we're scared of and we just need like a little pick-me-up, we will do that for each other. And it's great to have this whole group that you can have 5 other people like completely lifting you up and not judging you, and just having that support system. It's so life-changing. It's literally the best thing in my life, basically. Could go on about it for days, months, years.
I just think that us as sisters is better than every other sister. Sorry to sisters, but I think that's my favorite thing, is that we are funny and we have great inside jokes and we like to wear wigs and we do weird stuff. We don't judge each other for doing weird things, okay? We can just be weird around each other and we're not gonna get judged. And I think that's the best part of it.
I am still working on that. I tend to care too much about what people think, but I'm working on not caring about what people think. And as Christina said, or actually Christian said this, sorry Christina, the appropriate amount of weight for somebody's opinion is 0 pounds, 0 ounces. So yeah, I guess that's how I'm gonna do it.
Honestly, I just don't really see it, because if somebody says something negative to me, like on Twitter or something, then I mute them. And I don't really read our YouTube comments that much, and people don't really say anything on Instagram, really. So I don't really see it, but on the off chance that I do see something, I just kind of realize that it's really not that dramatic, because I know who I am and I know my faults and my weaknesses and I know my strengths. So regardless of what anyone says, I already know about myself. So if somebody says something that I know is not true, then I'm just like, well, it's not true. And if they say something negative that is true, then I'm like, well, I already know that. I'm working on it.
I think in the beginning it was a little bit hard to deal with, but then, as Lauren was saying before, we talked about this a few weeks ago, it's basically hate comments are either true or they're not true. So rather than thinking about like, oh, this person just said this because blah, 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 which I used to think about, they're telling me something that's true or they're telling me something that's a lie. If it's a lie, then duh, I don't care. If it's true, then I need to be able to face the truth. So if someone's like, you are trying to get so much attention, I'd be like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I guess I don't really care if it's a lie. I just really don't care. I'm like, random person I don't know, completely irrelevant to my life, told me something that's not true. Do not care. I think the reason why they hurt so much is when someone says something true and you can't face it and you're like, no, it's not true. So it's kind of that. It's true or it's not. I don't really care. It's very irrelevant. It's just something's true or not. That's kind of it.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't always deal with hate the best way. I don't look for hate. I don't search my name on Twitter. I don't try to find hateful things people say. But sometimes I come across it accidentally, and I've definitely cried and been really sad, and I've definitely like questioned myself, and it's kind of affected me sometimes. But I think as I get older, it gets easier to not let it affect me and to just let it go, because when you don't really know someone, it's a lot harder for them to have an impact on you versus like one of your close friends or your family members. So I feel like it just becomes easier as you get older to just separate. These people are talking about their perception of you, but they don't actually know like you fully as a person.
How do you deal with all the hate you get? I once saw a tweet that said, how is cyberbullying even real? Just close your eyes, walk away from the screen. That's kind of my philosophy. If I'm getting a lot of hate on something, I just don't look at it. And then guess what? It doesn't exist to me. How crazy is that? If you don't look at something, it doesn't exist to you. If a tree falls in the forest and no one heard it, it didn't happen, okay? I guess when I do see the hate, how I deal with it, sometimes I cry about it, but I don't really let it get to me. I don't think about it all the time. I can just kind of let it happen. I read it. Sometimes I cry about it. Sometimes. But most of the time, I'm just like, whatever. It's just a person who doesn't know me, and they're struggling too, so it's okay.
I don't know if I really have an ideal age because I just feel like God's plan is better than my plan, so whenever it happens will be the ideal age for me.
So I always wanted to get married at 25. This wasn't really a good reason, but now that I know what I was like at 25, 28, that was not ideal. I was not in a good place to get married. No. Now that I'm 28, I am definitely in a much more and probably ideal place to get married. I won't really know until I can look back, but 28.
Since we're talking ideals, not realistically, 22 years old. That's ideal. Because I think that I want to have a million children, and in order to have a million children, I gotta have some time to do that. So ideally, realistically, probably more like 25, 26. I don't really know at this point, but ideally pretty young, because it's like, why wait?
Ideal age to get married is 23, so it's all downhill from here. JK. Actually, I really wanted to get married when I was like 22 and I was dying, so maybe I'll say 22, but it's already passed. So at this point, it's just whenever the right person comes a knocking.
My ideal age has always been 26, which is funny because that's the age that I'm at now, and I'm definitely not married. Now that I'm dating and I'm in a relationship for like a year now, I don't feel like it needs to be 4 years before you like get married. So I feel like my ideal age now is just whenever I'm ready, which probably in the next few years. I don't know.
I think my ideal age is 28. Hi, Christina. Because you're just more comfortable in your life then, I think, and I have a few years till then because I'm getting kind of old, so I'm gonna say 28.
Least favorite original song you've ever done before? Oh gosh. How much time do you have? I'm just kidding. Yeah, my least favorite's Wings. I'm sorry guys, I really am. I know you guys like that song, but every time I do it, I don't like it.
Probably Wings. I'm sorry guys. I never listened to that song by choice. Everyone loves that song.
Believe It, because it didn't make any sense. Like, you got the money, but you got it on. You got the whole world. What are the words? On a roll? Is that what it was? What? I don't know, it was like, believe it. I thought the chords were kind of boring and the melody's kind of boring. Like, no offense to whoever wrote it. I think it's like, you did a good job, but like, also the words, I don't think you did a good job. Yeah. Production and everything, that's good. Good job. But yeah, I don't really like that. Not my favorite.
My least favorite original song we've ever done is probably Believe It. Sorry.
I don't know. I guess it's Believe It.
Which we didn't write.
I feel like this is a two-part answer for me. One is definitely Believe It in terms of like songs we released. But then in terms of songs that never got released, there was this one song we recorded in a studio and the producer was so mean that I literally was choking back tears the entire time and I was like crying into the carpet. Like, it was so bad and it was so horrible, and that was literally a traumatic recording experience. So I'm not gonna say who that was or what song it was, but that is my least favorite song because every time I hear the demo, I just like die inside.
As many as the Lord blesses me with.
How many kids do you want to have? I kind of said this earlier. I would like as many children as I can have. So ideally 8 to 12.
I don't know because it depends on whether I will be adopting all of them or not or whatever, but somewhere between like, I don't know, 6 and like 12. I don't know. I'd like to have a lot of kids.
I don't really have a set number. I just know that I don't want to have, like, my bare minimum. I feel like I wouldn't be able to function with less than 6 kids. But really it'd be more like less than 8. 8 would be great.
Okay, I used to say that I wanted like, I think 10 plus kids. And then as I got older, I was like, well, if I could have 8 kids. But now that I'm 26 and I feel like I'm actually getting closer to the age where I will have kids, I'm open. Like, multiple kids. I mean, 8 kids would be amazing. More than that would be amazing. Less than that would be amazing. I just want like as many kids as I possibly can have and whatever God wants for me. So I'm open to it.
I don't want to be like saying that having a small family is bad. I've never experienced it, so I don't actually have that experience. But I want a big family so bad. But I guess I would possibly be able to accept that if I had a small family. That would be really hard, but okay, maybe I would. I really want a big family, really bad. I just feel like I'm meant to be leading a large group. I'm just really comfortable doing that, like I have been forever. So I want a lot of kids. There's not really a limit on how many besides time and science, but you know, we'll see.
Well, I can't leave my house. Paparazzi's just following me everywhere.
It's fabulous, it's rich, it's luxurious, it's exclusive.
I spend $1 million a week on Gucci, and
You always get the invite.
it's just a crazy life being famous. So you don't even want to know about it because it's just too much to handle.
You get the best of both worlds. You wear a wig when you're famous and you go around and get into all the parties, but then you take your wig off and no one knows who you are. And you get to live a normal life and you get to go to middle school and high school and do all your tests. You're doing the bone dance, living, you learn it. You know, you really just get the best of both worlds.
What's it like to be famous? Okay, having people like know who you are and come up to you and all that stuff, it's fun sometimes because I am really social and I love it when I'm out and about and strangers aren't like looking at me. You know when strangers like look at you kind of weird, which happens a lot. I love when people are just like smiling and waving and like coming up to you and saying hi. I do really enjoy that. The weird part is that a large group of people gets to comment on and like grade your career and your personal life that they know about, which is really unnatural and strange. So that's a weird thing. But once you get over it and you start to not like notice it or care about it, then it's fine. It's just weird.
This is a funny question, and I actually saw this come in on Twitter, and I was thinking like, famous, what? I guess it is because we have a lot of followers and we get recognized and people stop us in public places. So I guess that would be the definition. But I don't really feel, quote, famous. Like, I don't feel like that because I just live a really normal life and I don't really, like, I try to avoid things that people would do, like to get like special treatment. So I would just say it feels normal, but you get stopped sometimes and you see people recognizing you and talking about you and whispering about you a lot. So it's just like everywhere you go, you know someone, and that is what it feels like.
I hate that question. We're not doing. I think it's kind of weird because I am very awkward around people that know who we are. It like kind of freaks me out sometimes, and it's not like I'm freaked out by the people, but just the concept. Like, I think because a lot of this has been over the internet, it's us like talking to like a camera. So it's not like around like all these people, so it's confusing to be talking to a camera and then all of a sudden people like all see it and then they know who you are, and it's like really kind of boggles my brain. So I don't really know, and I get really, really awkward, like really awkward.
I mean, we started getting views on YouTube and stuff when I was like 11 years old. So I honestly don't really remember what it's like to not have people like knowing who I am. So I can't really say what it's like because I don't really remember what it's like to not have that.
If I'm famous, quote unquote, I go to school, I go to the grocery store, I hang out with my friends, I drive a GMC Terrain. Pretty normal life, so I don't really know.
I would love to do a podcast season 2. I am so excited. It's honestly my favorite thing by far. Okay, I don't know by far, but it's my favorite content we've ever like the most fun for me to make because we just sit there and talk and it's so fun. It's honestly my dream. Just sitting there and talking is my favorite thing to do ever.
Yes, it is coming eventually, and we are working on it.
I mean, if you really want podcast season 2, you need to subscribe to the other channel and tell the people who make that podcast to make another season.
What channel is that channel?
I don't know. Search it. What is it? That's youtube.com/Cimorelli podcast. Go berate the people who own that channel. That means harass. And just tell them, I want season 2 and I want it now.
Yeah, we are gonna work on it either this winter or spring. Bottom line, go subscribe to Cimorelli podcast channel, watch those videos, comment on them, get all the numbers up. That's really helpful, and I still really want to do it. Even if I have to do like a stripped down version, I really want to do it, and I'm 99% sure we will do it because it was one of my favorite things we did, and those of you who loved it. I mean, it was so juicy, how could you not? Well, thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much. Remember to go subscribe to Cimorelli podcast, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to this channel, subscribe. Make sure you watch my wedding series. It's behind the scenes of the wedding planning, and it's really fun, and it's like a reality show. It looks like one. It's crazy. It's kind of nerve-wracking because it's pretty personal, and I kind of hide a lot on camera. I'm like, bye. Even though I announce things like, hey, where's my ball? I do announcements, but like personally, I like hide a little bit. So this is me not hiding, which is kind of scary. Go watch the wedding series. It's great. And comment below on your reactions to all these personal questions. I know there's some hot button topics, so I'm sure you guys have opinions. So let's see it. Pretty quiet. The rest of it, I was like sweating up the wazoo. Just kidding.
I'm a washed up has-been. My favorite thing about our sisterhood is how reliable it is.
Me and Danny's answer's more deep than Lisa's.
No, that I think
What did
that you think hers is like the
Lisa's
deepest.
like, I don't really know.
She's like,
I swear you never said that before.
I don't say everything that I think. Why do you think that I say everything that I think?
Because you never said it until now, right after I said it.
How do you remember everything I've ever said about haters?
I don't, but you don't either.
What?
I'm just saying, it's a pattern. It happens all the time. I say something specific because I write it out.
No, I know
I
that's a
remember what I
pattern.
said.
I know
I
that.
wrote it down.
But that doesn't mean that you were the only person that
Okay, it just
ever said
happens
it.
literally all the
I
time.
know that happens all the time.
I never get the credit. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna say, Lord, I said this, but it's the same thing. Okay, go get Lisa.
Okay.
If she literally said the same thing, I will get someone. I'm gonna tell her before. Why do you change the lyrics to your covers?
I don't know. We changed them. I don't know how to say this. Like everyone's offended by everything. Okay.
That's the thing that I'm just saying. to you.
No, I said that years ago.
I literally said that exact thing. I just sent it in a response to Miranda, and then I said it to the table 2 weeks ago. I said
I
either
said
it's
that
true or
months
it's
ago.
not true, and I typed it
I
out.
already said that.
I said
like
it literally
months
2 weeks
though.
ago. Okay, I have
What do you want me to
have
say?
actual receipts of it.
But I already said that myself. Like I came to
Okay.
that conclusion.
can you not say the same thing?
No.
What do you want me to
Just-
say then?
Okay. I always say things, and then people say the literal thing I said, and they're like, "You never said that." I'm like,
No, I know you said
I
that.
know I said that.
I know you said
Well,
that.
when I
before.
said it, you didn't say, "Oh, I've said that years ago."
I don't say that
'Cause it was
someone
really
says something
specific.
that I know.
It was really specific.
But
It was
I
like
don't say that.
1, 2.
Do you realize people say things that I've thought before, but I don't feel the need to be like, I said that before.
I feel like then it's sketchy because we don't know who said what, and then we're like, "Oh, I
Do
said
you
this."
want me to
Then
say
I
something
repeat the
else
same
then?
thing you said, and then it's like, "Oh,
Then I will.
that's
say
really
something
weird. They
else.
both said that."
Okay, then I will say something else.
Pregnancy? Yes.
That's mine.
The answer is yes.